Hey everybody, Alluvial Sin here with another Greenlight Shoutout. This time we're looking at a game called Manaspark, created by a two-man dev group under the name of BEHEMUTT, or something along those lines. I'm sorry guys, I don't know how to say your name, and I apologize for that. Moving on to the actual gameplay. So, this is what you would consider a pretty standard adventure RPG-esque roguelike game. It's in the gameplay itself, there's nothing too extremely surprising, but I would say the art that has gone into it is a very, very nice pixel art. It's nice, it's bright, everything flows together well, and all while not having anything mesh where it looks like it's all blending into one. The enemies are probably what makes this game stand out the most against the other roguelikes I've been playing lately. And what it is that makes the enemies stand out is the fact that they interact with each other to try and defeat you more. The AI they have it's very interesting. So the wolves you saw me defeat right there can actually be mounted by these goblins, and it creates a whole new enemy to fight that works in a completely different way. The goblins themselves are really easy to kill, but when they're on that wolf, they become a much bigger threat. They move faster, and they still have their ranged attack, and the wolf is still going to bite you too. In between every level, you're also going to see a store. Now, the store is pretty general for what you would expect. If, based on your level, you're going to have a different cost to purchase an item, which is how most of these games work. And when you pull that lever, a random 3 items will appear. If you are unlucky, one of those will be food. Unless you need food, in which case I guess that's not so unlucky. I did not, so I was a little sad to see food appear. However, I did get one of my favorite items in the game, which is this golden feather. I don't remember the exact name of it, but what it does is it allows my shots to pierce through enemies. Now, this comes in handy in a couple different ways. So, the first way, which is probably the most obvious, is when there's a lot of people around, you can kind of blow right through all of them all at once, and it works very well for that. In fact, you're going to get to see that somewhere coming up. I don't remember where exactly. It might actually be right about here. Let's see what item I love this item too. So these two together just really make my day, and this is pretty much where, yeah, here it is. So you're going to see the poison come into effect here from the flower I just got, the flower ring, and I pierced through that first dog, killing 2 others behind it. Also, the poison continues on through everything you pierce, so you can poison multiple enemies all at once. It makes the combination just amazing. That was something I like, the fact that I could not buy right there. It lends a sense of the game not trying to help you out. You're going to come on levels where you just don't make enough money off of the enemies to purchase something, and it's going to make it harder for you. Now, what the ratios are and the data for when items should appear or when gold should appear, I do not know. I don't know if they have it so that the fewer items you have, the more likely you are to see items. It would be interesting to find out, though. Now, what you just saw was me killing 2 of those big blobs, and then them blowing up and shooting spines all around. What I like about that is it actually deals damage to the other enemies in the game. And that's not something you see all too often in my experience with roguelikes and other action games so far. Usually it's just you damage them, they damage you, and everything else just kind of floats around. but here you can use enemies' attacks against them. And we're actually going to see another good example of that right here. I get surrounded by fire, and I didn't even notice it at first, but as I shot through the fire, I was catching the ground and enemies on fire that got hit by the arrows that I was shooting through the fire with. It also meant I could basically spread that fire forever within a given room, or if I was careful, I could spread it through other rooms. Now, that could be dangerous, obviously, because fire can hurt you too, but it definitely made my attack stronger. There's also a lot of ways to go about this in a more strategic type style. So, you saw me blow up that one enemy because I knew it would hit other enemies in the room. And I find blowing up the blobs is really useful for doing just that, trying to take out multiple enemies. However, you can end up blowing up other blobs that you don't realize are there, and just like I did, get hit by one of the spines. Normally, they're pretty easy to dodge, but when you don't know that there's a blob there, you may not see the spine coming in time. So, right now I don't have any items that increase my damage, and in fact, I don't get any items to increase my damage in this entire playthrough. I even grab an item that lowers my damage, but you'll understand why when I get there. That's not to say there aren't any. There's actually a good few. There's an anvil in the game that greatly increases your damage, but slightly slows down the attack speed of your character, as well as a sword that just increases your damage with no negative side effect, but it's not as much. I'm also not quite sure how the sword increases it. But yeah, so you just saw me do something to those levers twice, and that's something I thought was just a nice touch. It wasn't needed, but it was an interesting and nice touch. You can activate the levers by shooting them. You don't have to walk up to it and press E, although that works just fine, except for this one. I actually tried to shoot a lever in here once, and it did not do anything. So here's the item that lowers my damage a bit. It's not that much, but oh my god, the speed you can shoot with that caffeine is insane. Who knew a cup of coffee was so useful? And as you can see, I actually did buy food because I was low on health. So you go through levels, and every now and then you're going to come up on a boss. Now, you saw that say level 7. I definitely did not go through 7 levels here. So I'm not sure if that's something specific to the demo or what exactly. But that's how it worked, and for those of you who haven't figured it out yet, this is going to be a boss level, hence the lack of enemies and the multiple doors being open. So I've played through this a couple of times, so I already knew what this boss was. I did not know that I could basically lock him down with this mass arrow. Also, that game is just awesome. The art in this is just so beautiful that I want to see this game get greenlit. If you guys think this game is cool too, if you want to play it, head over to Steam. There's a link down to their website and a link down to Steam down below in the description. Please head over, say yes, you'll purchase this, or yes, you're interested in it. It will greatly help them out, and it'll help me out because I want to see it happen. So, thank you guys, and if you enjoyed this, go ahead and click like. If you want to see more of this, click like, because that's how I know to make more Greenlight shoutouts for you guys. Other than that, if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe. It really helps me out. And share it with your friends. Also helpful. But yeah, so let me know what you thought of the game, and if you think it's interesting. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.